is the Spotlight, where we turn the spotlight on the arts here in St. Lucie Public Schools. I'm Kevin Perry, your host for the show, and we're excited to bring you this show in June called the Senior Show, where we highlight the accomplishments of some of our acclaimed students who have participated in music, art, dance, and drama throughout their career as students here in St. Lucie Public Schools. But before we talk to our wonderful guests this morning, let me remind you of the St. Lucie Public Schools Summer Musical Theater Project that will take place at Port St. Lucie High School on June 17th through the 21st. This year's show is a very family-friendly show called Susical the Musical, and we're excited to present that to all of our community members, and we hope that you'll come out and continue to support the arts by supporting the students that participate from many of our schools here in the district. Again, those shows are on June 17th through the 21st. Tickets can be purchased at PSL High School, at Jay's Fine Jewelry, Honey Baked Ham, Joy's Ice Cream, and Perkins. But back to our guests this morning. Wonderful students who have been in the arts here in St. Lucie County, and a very special guest that's in the middle. But I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves to you and tell you their name and the schools that they attend.
Good morning. My name is Sean Phillips. I'm a graduate from Fort Pierce Central High School. While there, I performed in the Fort Pierce Central Jazz Band, Marching Band, and Symphonic Band playing the alto saxophone. And it was 4 absolutely wonderful years there, and I look forward to continuing my post-secondary education.
Jalyne?
Hi, my name is Jalyne Edwards. I'm a graduate of Lincoln Park Academy. There I was a part of the Lincoln Park Academy Concert Chorale, Rhapsody, and Women's Chorale.
Iman?
Good morning. I graduated from Lincoln Park Academy, and I was a part of the Concert Chorale, Rhapsody, and Women's Chorale.
And Alex?
I'm a graduate of Fort Pierce Central High School. I was a part of their theater department and Florida Thespians.
You know, it's amazing. They've only been graduated for a couple of days now, and it's like, I graduated. That's great. You'll always be a student from the school because once a Cobra.
Always.
Yeah, and we do right because it's
Right to do
yeah. Okay, you get it. But in the middle is a very special guest, Mr. John McGallagher, who is joining us to talk about an outstanding career as a music educator for 45 years. Hello, Mr. Mack.
Good morning, sir.
Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. My pleasure.
It is indeed a pleasure to have you on this senior spotlight. And I guess my guess is why is Mr. Mack here with the students that just graduated? Well, in a way, Mr. McGallagher is graduating also. He's decided to retire after 45 years of instructing students, and we're going to miss him and his leadership. So we thought that he would have some words of wisdom to share with us as well. But first of all, to our students, you've already shared with me the organizations, the different ensembles that you participated in. And Alex, you just told me that you were part of the theater department. Being a part of the theater department, were you on stage? Were you behind stage? Just different roles. Talk to us a little bit about that.
I think the Fort Pierce Theater Department is very diverse, where everyone has a chance to be on stage or perform in front of a class or to even teach classes if you're advanced enough. It's a very versatile program. I think anything that kind of has to do with theater that you would eventually do.
And Iman, I know that you were part of the choral department with Mr. Ramin, as I call him, Professor Ramin. But because Lincoln Park starts in 6th grade, did you start in chorus in 6th grade?
Yes, sir, I did. I started in 6th grade and I ended 12th grade, so I've been there for 7 long years.
seven long but great years, right?
Yes.
As a part of the choral department and the ensembles that you participated in, were you the lead of any of those ensembles or any of those sections?
I had the opportunity to lead a couple of songs and take leadership in some of the roles, and it gave me a really good experience for what I'm about to go into in college, and I'm grateful for that.
Jalyne, you're also part of the choral program there at Lincoln Park. Did you have any specific roles that you were given as lead as well?
In my junior year, I became vice president and student conductor, and in my senior year, I was promoted to president, and I also remain student conductor. So.
As a student conductor, what does that mean? What do you get to do?
I get to lead the class in warm-ups, and I'm given the opportunity to direct pieces and work on choreography because we do many other things besides singing corps. So.
Okay, Sean, as a part of the instrumental program, jazz band, marching band, concert band, were you also the lead in any of the groups or sections?
Yes, sir. I was actually the saxophone section leader and also the first lieutenant. And as in those positions, you really learn a huge degree about leadership skills and team building skills, right next to learning instrumentation and all those wonderful things that accompany learning music.
It seems like all of you were a part of leadership in your programs. And this is just a jumping question, Why do you think you were chosen for leadership? Anybody? Go ahead.
Because my chorus teacher obviously saw something in me that I was able to do, and it pushed me to lead or be something greater than what I was, and he saw potential in me, and so.
Mr. McGallagher, after 45 years of teaching school, when we're talking to these students about leadership, what is it that you look for when you're choosing leaders for your many ensembles and band?
The thing that I always try to find first is students who excel in an area that will help them be a good leader. If they have the desire to see the band get better, if they have a desire to do their part in whatever needs to be done, they demonstrate these leadership abilities that they can have. And then we try to take those students and shape them so that they can lead the band, the jazz band. I had a show choir once that we did the same thing with. And it just, we just try to discover through what they are already doing if they have the potentials. We have a lot of levels of leadership to even where we can train them. Somebody has to load the trailer, and that's the starting point for learning to be a good leader. Responsibility is what it's all about.
To my students, everybody likes to be in charge, but it's a very difficult role to play, and it can also be a very lonely role to play. How did you handle being a leader amongst your peers? Because in essence, you have to tell them what to do. How did you handle that? Anybody?
Well, all right. Well, I'd say that it really helped being among so many people in regards to the loneliness factor. There were a lot of other section leaders, and as a team, you work together to really bolster the teamwork and just work like a family. It's almost like you're maybe a father or not so much as a leader figure, but you're helping your younger classmen come together and really bolster that family feel.
Alex?
I think it's more of you have to take responsibility, and people understand that it's for the common good, and they kind of look to you because they relate to you the most, other than the teachers or the adult figures. So it's kind of hard because you have to balance the responsibility as long as, still trying to respect them as your peer. But I think most people understand that you do have a tough job and it's for the common good of the program more than being friends.
Okay. To my students again, why was participating in your specific area important to you?
Because I think that I can say for all of us, the arts is such an important thing in our lives. And so being a part of that, it made it better because now we finally have something that connects us all, being with other students who also want to do the same things that we want to do. So.
Anyone else?
I would say that there are a lot of very important life skills to impart from being in a music program and any fine arts program, to be honest, because you, like I was saying before, you really form a family, and you have to have a certain degree of responsibility, actually quite a lot of responsibility when you're trying to keep a team together. And among those are responsibility, punctuality, integrity, all very important life skills that also accompany just instrumental theory and all those fundamentals as well that you learn from the program.
Mr. McGallagher, Sean brings up a very good point. Those life skills. After teaching students many different states, what about those life skills that students develop from being in the arts?
Well, I like the word that the students are using, responsibility. When I talk to my leadership team, I tell them that, you know, you're no different than any other student, except you've been given more responsibilities. And I think that's a tremendous life skill that they have to take out. We teach them punctuality, as was mentioned. We teach them how to adjust in an environment sometimes that they don't want to be in at that particular moment. We teach them that they have to learn to incorporate everyone, because everyone's important. I do a lot of things where I tell the kids, okay, this is a teaching moment. And I may talk to them about a situation a family situation that they need to be aware of, that someday they may have to focus on. And I think all teachers, to an extent, do that. Making a direction in their life. You know, I find students sometimes don't know what they want to do, where they want to go, and they just need to have some kind of direction so they see where seniors are going as younger students. They find out, okay, this student was going to wanted to major in music, for example, or major in drama, but they changed that. And they learned that everything's not always consistent. We have to be flexible in our lives.
So I heard you say responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
I heard integrity, I heard making choices, making decisions, being collaborative, and being inclusive, and collegiality, which are all life skills, as we call them, that are important for everyone as they move to, I'll call it their what's next in life, be it school, be it military, be it the world of work. Now, students, I have a few questions that I want everyone to respond to. First of all, and we'll start with Sean, okay? Do you participate in any other performing groups outside of your school?
Yes, sir. I actually participate in the praise band at Indian River Presbyterian Church. I perform the bass guitar and saxophone.
Okay, Jalyne?
Yes, I am a part of the Mount Olive Missionary Baptist Church youth ministry, and so we have a choir, and so I'm a part of that, and as well as the inspirational gospel choir.
Okay, Iman?
I am involved in St. Mark Missionary Baptist Church in Fort Pierce in the youth choir and in the youth program at Mount Pleasant Missionary Baptist Church.
Okay, Alex?
No, but I'm currently searching for troops to be a part of for theater.
Okay, all right. Here's my next question to each of you. And Alex, can I start with you? Okay.
Yes.
What excites you about performing?
I think it's the challenge of performing, that you have to kind of get out of your own space to put yourself out there and to just do your absolute best, and then to show everyone what you can do, because I don't think we get enough opportunities as that.
Iman, what excites you about performing?
For me, it's the adrenaline, but the feeling that you get to do what you love, and you just give it your all when you get on stage. And for me, it's singing, and I just give my 100%, knowing that you're doing something that you love to do.
Jalyne?
I love the feeling of connecting with audience members. I think that's really important when you're out there, and for me, singing as well. When you sing a song and you can see the emotion that you're bringing to the audience members, I think that really connects you in a way to them. So.
And Sean?
Absolutely, I agree 100%. I would say it's the the reactions I see from the audience. And I love to see the different emotions that you can bolster in an audience while performing music, especially at church. I see a lot of emotions come out. Be it that it's really early in the morning, it's kind of hard to fish for that, but it's really lovely to see the reactions that you receive from your audience, and it really feels good as a musician to see that, because in a way that kind of verifies that you're doing your job and that you're really, because music really does bolster a lot of emotions.
Well, in the theater world, we have this saying that says the whole world is a stage and we're but mere players. So, Mr. McGallagher, what excites you about performing? Because you do it every day in class as you're teaching, every day when you step up on the podium with the wonderful baton in your hand. What excites you?
When I see the students get it. To me, it's about the students. I tell them that, we're doing this for the audience, but in my mind, they're doing it so that I can see what they've accomplished, and that's what thrills me. I like the students here. I sing in a Southern gospel group. We did our final concert on Sunday night as a group, and it's the same thing. You know that when people react to your craft, your craft of music or drama or art, you know that you have done what you're supposed to do. But it's a thrill for me is to watch the kids. Of course, I enjoy conducting too, and part of that is realizing the music is coming out. It doesn't matter if it's vocal music, jazz band, orchestra, or band. When the music comes out, that's when you get that little rabbit runs across your grave, so to speak. You get goosebumps and what have you. But that's when you realize that, they got it.
Yeah.
And that's the moment.
Let me read a statement to each of you, and anyone, Mr. Mack included, jump in, giving me your initial response or what this invokes in you. Research shows that those who participate in the arts fare better on standardized tests, have fewer behavior problems, and the arts involvement builds strong friendships, provide comfort and self-fulfillment, increases the desire to set and achieve goals, teach positive work ethics, and grow appreciation for other things. In this world that we live in, sometimes we know the arts are the first to be cut, but when we hear statements about how the arts help students fare better on standardized tests, have fewer behavior problems, what does that mean to you as a student? Were you an honor student? Did you get in trouble? I doubt it. I doubt if you got in trouble, especially in Mrs. Stewart's class over at Fort Pierce Central High School. What does that statement mean to you as an artist? Everybody jump in, it doesn't matter.
I think that it rings true. I've definitely made a lot of strong friendships out of being in chorus. Like, she's my best friend, so that definitely is true. And being in chorus, there's a higher standard of your grades, and so we're expected to have a certain amount of grades. So most of us end up with some type of an award at the end of the year because of our grades, because we're expected to do better. So I think that it rings true.
Okay. Alex?
I think it helps us with other subjects in school. There was definitely been times when I would take a test and I would know the cultural subtext because of a play that we learned or because of a musical that we did. It definitely helps in other areas, which boosts us up in school. For friendships, I mean, you're with these people all day. Like, I know we've all had rehearsals that by the end you're like, ugh. But then, you've connected with other people, and I think that's another thing with behavior, because you know how to handle people for so many hours, and you know how to work together and how to work with other people.
I think when these types of statements are made, the one thing that comes to my mind is that students in the art will develop a very keen sense of responsibility to get the job done. And I know I've read where Yale and Harvard, one of the first things they look for on the application is was that student involved in the arts? And it's simply because they want people that have the ability personally to strive to do better and to do whatever's required of them. If you've never marched in in a marching show in August, you miss something in the musical world, but it's really difficult to spend that 3-4 hours out in that sun. That discipline has to be developed, and then that desire has to be there to accomplish that goal. And I think that's where it really affects students in the math room, in the science lab, writing the English paper, in any class they take. They've learned to develop the desire and develop the attitude that I can do this.
Here's a question for everyone. Mr. Mack, it might be a tough question for you because you're going to have to reflect. But the question asks, what is your most memorable performance and why?
I would have to say it might be my last one, because really the emotions I felt on the last performance I've never felt on any other. It was very bittersweet. It felt wonderful to realize, wow, I've been a part of this program for 4 wonderful years, but wow, I also have to go forth and walk down a new path. And it felt very bittersweet to leave all my really, truly wonderful colleagues and just absolutely wonderful musicians. And it was such a pleasure to play alongside of them and to play for one last wonderful performance.
Jalyne?
You actually took the words like right out of my mouth. I got the chance to perform at graduation with my chorus members, and I just remember thinking the whole time that I was so excited, but I was so nervous, and I was also sad. So there were all these range of emotions, but it was my most memorable one because my family was there, my friends were there, and I got to celebrate that last chorus moment with them. So I really enjoyed that one.
Iman?
For me, it had to be at our state festival competition. We sang a piece called Beside Still Waters, and it was, as we were singing it, I can't even describe it. It's like, it was this energy that just ran through the room, and like you could feel the connection between everybody. And after we finished, it was just like, it was a feeling I couldn't describe. And I was overwhelmed with emotion, and I was just so grateful that I was able to be there to sing it with everyone that I love.
It was a piece that left us breathless. We didn't want to breathe until after you guys finished because we thought we would miss something, so it was really good. I remember that one too. Alex?
My favorite would probably be the Addams Family musical that we did this year.
That you had the starring role in?
Yes,
I remember
Gomez.
that too. I was there.
I think it was about reflecting on the journey that I took from the first day as a freshman to my last musical as a senior.
Okay.
And then working alongside with such creative, talented people and going through the journey of the musical and then the journey of the whole department. So it was just a lot of journeys.
Yes. Yes. Great job. Great show.
Thank you.
Mr. McGallagher.
Wow. There's so many, and when you single out one, my thought is, well, who am I leaving out? But the students for all these years I've been very blessed to have students that have worked hard to accomplish the things that I've set before them. I guess when I look at my most favorite performance, it was in the sight reading room the second year that I was at PSL, and that was, I guess, 5 years ago. And in the sight reading room, the students created music.
Wow.
You know, when you spend time working on music, and all of you know this regardless, or the play or whatever it happens to be, when you spend that time, you develop to a point of where you want to be. For me, it was that we sat down, and when we played the music, they were musical. And I think that's what most of the art teachers want to see, because that's a high level of achievement at that point. And I'd have to rank that one the very best. I cannot tell you what piece of music we played, the march or the overture. I can just tell you when we got through, it was musical. I was just blown away. I just couldn't understand why that was happening at that point.
I wish we had a longer time to talk to you guys because we're running out of time. So let me ask everyone here this question. What are your plans for next year? Does it include participating in the arts? If you're going to school, military, but just inform us of all of that, please.
Alrighty, well, I definitely love to forward my my passion for music and actually pursue a degree in the bachelor's degree in music education to be a music teacher. So I hope to go to IRSC for 2 years. I'll be starting this fall and then transfer later on to a in-state Florida university to fulfill my bachelor's degree.
And come back to St. Lucie Public Schools to teach, right?
Absolutely.
Great,
Why not?
great. Jalyne.
I plan on attending Bethune-Cookman University. I am going to be a part of their concert chorale program, but I'm not going to major in music. However, I am going to major in English and minor in political science. So.
Okay. Iman?
I am also attending Bethune-Cookman University in the fall, and I will be majoring in music to eventually become a music therapist.
Hey, Alex?
I am attending Florida Atlantic University, FAU. I'll be majoring in marketing and minoring in French, but I plan on being a part of theater outside of school and
Great.
in school.
Mr. McGallagher?
Well, I got so many things that I want to do, but I don't, nothing's set into concrete other than I am retiring. What I hope to be able to do during my retirement is to continue to mentor and help where I can. I still am in contact with one of my mentors that when I started in 1970, and I don't hesitate to say that because I'm very proud of the fact that I've lasted this long. And I want to be a mentor and help folks. Sorry.
Let me ask you this, Mr. McGallagher. A final question posed to you. What advice would you give to these wonderful students as they commence to what's next for them?
They've probably heard this already, but I don't think you can hear it enough. Have a dream and work for your dream. Don't let anyone stand in your way. I knew so little when I went off to school to become a band director and that's all I ever wanted to be was a band director. I never talked about teaching music. I never talked about being a great orchestra conductor. I just wanted to be a band director. And I would say to you, set your goals, set your dream. A dream is different than a goal. It's something that you're going to carry with you for your life. A goal is something that you're going to reach and you're going to have to go to something else. Set your dream and work for that dream and don't let anyone stand in your way. If they tell you you can't do it, get rid of them. Your best friend. If she looks at you and says, no, you're never going to be what you think you're going to be, get rid of that friend. They're an obstacle. You need to have people support you and follow your dream. Now, that doesn't mean you won't deviate to something else, but do it. Follow your dream.
That's it for this edition of The Spotlight, where we turn the spotlight on the arts. To our wonderful students, as you commit to what's next, you have to reflect and remember that this was a journey that started for you some 13 years ago, some 52 report cards ago, and it is only the end of your new beginning and you're commencing on to what's next. And we hope that you will come back and share with us all the great accolades that you will achieve once you go to what's next. And Mr. McGallagher, you know that you always have a home here in St. Lucie Public Schools. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining us this season here on The Spotlight. We want to thank our executive producer, Mr. Craig Jerome, and the wonderful staff here at our station, Octavius Robinson and Sharon Perkins, for keeping me in line all year long and for helping us produce one of the best shows here on our TV station, The Spotlight, where we turn the spotlight on the arts.